Hey, what's up? DFS Rico coming at you today for this League of Legends 5-game LCS slate on Sunday, March 22nd. Just early on looking at it, the first thing I like to do to break down the slate is go over to Bovada and see the Vegas odds and what it's looking like right now. And typically in League of Legends, you want to play the favorites. I mean, where you want to go in the GPPs is usually the ones where the favorites are closer. The odds are a lot closer, but usually in cash or anything single entry, we're gonna want to play the favorites. And as we can see early on, we got Liquid favorited over Golden Guardians, Cloud9 over Logic Gaming, TSM over Immortals, 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest is where I would think a lot of the GPP picks could go just because it's so close. The odds are so close, and same with Evil Geniuses and Team Dignitas. But early on, I like Evil Geniuses, I like FlyQuest, I like TSM, Cloud9. It's probably the most obvious plays. It's Cloud9 and Liquid. And so early on, I am going to be looking at stacking from those two teams. In League of Legends, you're going to want to do 4-man stacks or 3-man stacks. I am trying 4-3s and I am trying 3-3-1s just to see which one I like better. I think 3-3-1 is a little more if you want to be really different, but 4-3s seem to be having the most success right now. You're going to be stacking a lot like baseball as of now. So I'm going to go through each position and just pick some of the guys that I really like, and if I am going to be stacking those teams, I would be including those players in the stack, if that makes sense. So just early on, you can go through, pick the teams you think are going to win, honestly, if you have your own opinions. Hopefully you have your own reasoning behind it. Good reasoning. But early on, I like I said, TSM, C9, EG, FlyQuest, and Liquid. But so in the top lane, those are probably the guys I would be going towards building around. If you want to be cheap, I can see you playing Impact. I'm not a huge fan of him. He hasn't been playing too well this season. As you can see, he's averaging 13.8 points per game, which isn't that good. So the guy I'm looking at, if I'm going to be building around TSM, I am going to be picking Broken Blade. He's probably the safest pick on the team in my opinion. 23 fantasy points per game. He averages the second most kills per game as far as top laner, second most assists per game for top laners. Got a 4.24 KDA, 3.3, 13 assists, 5.07 assist ratio per game, which is really good in a favored matchup against Immortals. So I'm going to be plugging in him at 7.2. If I'm building around TSM, he's one guy I would want to include in my stacks. Also, going to jungle position, which is really the main cog that keeps the team going. They're all over the map consistently, assisting, getting objectives, and that's how you win in league is objectives and helping your lanes out to achieve clearing those objectives and getting kills and assists and all that. So early on, Blabber, you can't go wrong with him. Dardoch for TSM, Santorin for FlyQuest, and Broxa for Team Liquid are the 5 most expensive, and for good reason. They're all the favorited teams. But if you want to be different, I could see you going media sets if you think 100 Thieves could pull off the upset. But they're slight underdogs, though, so it's not really a huge upset. League upsets don't happen that often, so just kind of got to play the favorites most of the time. And Svenskern at 7K is where I'm going to be looking at going over the last 4 games. They're 4-0, Evil Geniuses. He's been playing really well, 30, 30, 12, and 26. This game against the LG ended so quick he didn't really get to do much, but he does have the most assists in that same win span. They're 4-0 over the last 4 games, and over those 4 games, he's averaging the most assists per game, the highest average in fantasy points per game. He's a bit underpriced, in my opinion, below guys like Blabber or Dardoch, which they're a little pricier. They're in the obvious position, but if you want to be a little different and save that money, Evil Geniuses is the stack that I'm going to be liking a lot today. So Svenskern in the mid lane. And the thing about Svenskern, he's really the main cog on the team. He plays a lot of tanky champs. He plays a lot of all-in champs. He's going to be dying a lot. I think he has the second most deaths as far as junglers, but he also has the most assists and He's just playing very well over these last 4 games. He's one of the main reasons that the team's been able to go 4-0, and I believe they're going to win again, be 5-0 over these last 5 games. And he's like the main reason why, honestly, if you watch the games. Mid lane, there's Niski, Bjergsen, Jensen, Power of Evil, and Jizuke are the 5 most expensive play. Once again, the 5 favorites. Out of all of them, obviously Bjergsen's probably the highest upside at 8K, so I can see a lot of people going to him. But Jizuke with Svenskern, I can see me building around them to a lot if I'm doing the Evil Geniuses stack, and he's going to be the guy I'm going to be plugging in over the last 4 games. He's averaging 32 fantasy points per game on this 4-game win streak, which is the highest. He has the most kills in that same span, more than any other mid laner at least. I think more than any other carry as well, but I know for sure the mid laner, so I'm going to be plugging him in if I am doing an EG stack. He's the guy. Those 2 guys are the guys I'm going to be building around if I am for sure doing an EG stack. Up next at AD carry, Sven at 8.4 is solid. He's been the most consistent DFS player, honestly. In the DFS world, honestly, he's guaranteed practically 20 fantasy points per game. C9 is the best team in the league in the LCS right now. They're 14-1, I believe. He's been playing really good. He has the highest KDA. He has a 20.13 KDA, 6 assists per game, and 5 kills per game, which is just insane. That's practically telling you he's dying less than 1 time per game, which is just absurd. He's really been on a tear this season. He's probably the safest pick in my opinion. He's a little pricey at 8.4, so I can see people paying down for guys like Wild Turtle or even Double Lift and other favorited games as a stack. But if you can afford him, if you are doing a C9 stack, he's the guy I would be building around for sure. He's the guy you want to include in those stacks. Probably the safest guy in all of the LCS. Up next, supports the last role. Obviously the same guys. Vulcan averages the most assists in the league. Biofrost for TSM, Zazel for Evil Geniuses, and Ignar for FlyQuest, and Core JJ. It's probably the only one I wouldn't play. I'm not a huge fan of him. It's pretty bad, honestly. Doesn't really contribute much to the team even when they're winning. So the guy I'm leaning towards, just to save the money at 5.4k, is Evil Geniuses. I see me building a lot of Evil Genius stacks and filling, because they're a little cheaper, and then filling them in with guys from TSM and C9 is probably the way I'm going to be going. Same with FlyQuest, they're a little cheaper, so I'm going to have to find ways to pair those 2 teams together. It's going to be hard to put TSM and C9 together, so it'll be a lot of EG and TSM or EG and C9. Same thing with FlyQuest TSM and FlyQuest C9. Liquid, I'm not a huge fan of them. They're more of a toss-up for me today, but I mean, that's how you win. You got to be different, so I can see good reason for going to guys like that. So I'm just going to be plugging in Ignar. He's averaging 4.33 KDA, less than a death per game, 7.13 assists, 71% kill participation, which is crucial with supports, which is just showing you he's always involved whenever the action is going down. They won today. He didn't do too good. I mean, the game was pretty one-sided. That's one thing you learn from League of Legends is matches are really one-sided, so that's why you want to bet on the favorited teams. So I will be plugging him in my FlyQuest stacks just because he saves that money. You're going to need savings because usually the carries are obviously really expensive, so it's hard to plug in guys, all the carries on one team without rounding it out with a cheap stack. So that's usually how you want to build a expensive stack with a cheap stack, and sometimes it's a gamble taking those cheaper stacks, but it's really the only way to do it right now. It's nearly impossible to fill in the 2 best teams. It just doesn't happen. It's not like other sports where guys get scratched and injuries like that. So, yeah, just look for the favorites. Look for who you think's gonna win. 4-3 stack it, 3-3-1 stack it, 4-2-1 stack it. Those are the ways you really want to go. Those are the only ways that are winning right now. Haven't really seen anybody build something like this and win, so don't expect them to win like that. A lot of the players give each other correlation, whether it's kills, assists, or objectives. That's the way you will get more points. When one guy's getting a kill, if other guys are getting assists, all those points start adding up. You get 2 points per assist, 3 points per kill. That's usually the way you get points, and the winning team is usually the one getting way more points. It's rare where both teams are doing good. So just go with the favorites. Don't try to be too different for you get punished. But yeah, if you have any questions about League of Legends, I do play this game a ton. Just let me know. Comment, subscribe, like. Hopefully you like. Hopefully you subscribe. Thank you.